When your baby won't stop crying, the hours can seem endless. Your arms are aching, your heart is heavy, and all you want is for your baby to stop crying. Well, this might not sound very impressive, and you're probably going to roll your eyes when I say it, but by changing one simple thing, the way you hold your baby, it can make a huge difference. Now, before you click away, in my 4 decades of childcare, I have never come across a baby that did not settle with at least one of these holds. And I can promise that these scientifically proven positions will soothe your baby. And along with my 2 top tips for settling your baby, you will be able to stop that crying and settle your baby successfully. Now, let's find the strategy that works for you. Now, the most effective holds for soothing a crying baby are those that recreate what the baby was experiencing in the womb. Therefore, repetitive shushing and patting replicate the sound of blood running through the placenta and the mother's beating heart, while repetitive movements like rocking or bouncing mimic the gentle movements that the baby felt in the womb too. Now, incorporating all of those elements leads us to the 6 holds that you can try to soothe your crying baby. Now, the first one is baby wearing. It's simple, it's easy, and it is a great way to calm a crying baby. As they're held against your body, they can feel your heart beating, and they can get the smell of you, and it really calms them. And the added bonus is that you have your hands free. And so, especially if you've got another child to look after, baby wearing is a great solution. Now, there are lots of baby carriers and wraps out there. It can be a bit daunting when you want to know which one to choose, so I have put links to my favourite ones in the description box below. The second one is Dr. Harvey Carp's 5S calming technique for babies. Dr. Carp is an American pediatrician, author, and child developmental specialist, and he came up with this easy to remember soothing technique. So this is a really easy method to remember because everything begins with an S, hence the reason it's called the 5 S's. So first of all, you swaddle your baby. Then you take your swaddled baby and you lie them along your arm on their side or their stomach, but usually on their side. Then we move on to the third S, which is the swaying. So you're going to start swaying. So that gives you the movement. And then you're going to start shushing. And finally, you're going to add in the sucking. And the sucking can be by offering your baby with your free hand a pacifier, or you can keep one of their hands out of the swaddle and you can offer them a hand of their own, or you can offer them one of your fingers, whatever's easier for you. But the sucking is really important. As you can see, this method incorporates all of those things that I mentioned before. We've got the repetitive movements, we've got the shushing, we've got the swaddling in addition, which helps your baby feel safe and comfortable, and we've got the sucking. All of these things will help soothe your baby. And then we have the sit and rock. Now, this position I learned from a matron at Queen Charlotte's Maternity Hospital when I was training to be a Norland nanny. And it is a very effective hold that I have used over the years with great success. So you take the baby and you sit them on your lap, make sure you support their head and you have them in a sitting position, leaning slightly forward. And then you rock them backwards and forwards. You can also do slightly circular movements, but moving them backwards and forwards is the one they seem to like the most. Now, this is great for babies that have got trapped wind, feeling just generally colicky, and it is really good for newborns as well, who can feel a little bit uncomfortable when they first come into the world. The fourth hold is a football hold, and it looks like this. You take your baby and you place them face down on your outstretched left arm, and then you pat them on your back. And you can also encourage them to suck their fingers or give them a pacifier. So this hold incorporates the gentle repetitive movements, it's got the patting, and it's also got the essential sucking. And the extra thing that this particular hold has is that it applies gentle pressure on your little one's tummy. So it's really good for babies that might be suffering from wind or any other sort of digestive discomfort. This next hold is the flex and hold, and this involves facing your baby outwards. So you sit them on your hand, you hold them against your tummy, and then you take your other hand and hold their hands and keep them in that sitting position facing outwards. But they're in a flexed position, hence the name. And then you rock backwards and forwards and allowing them to suck on their fingers. So this hold mimics the movement that they would have felt in the womb, and it gives them the added comfort of being able to suck. And of course, you can always make that shushing sound as well. Finally, we have the classic shoulder hold, and this one incorporates the patting, the shushing, and the repetitive movement that babies find so comforting, like this. So you take your baby and you place them over your shoulder. Be careful to make sure that you hold baby high enough. The idea is that you want your mouth to be level with their ear. And then you do this patting on their bottom to mimic the heartbeat that they would have felt in the womb. And then you do a rocking movement, backwards and forwards. So that's another soothing movement that you're doing. And you make the shushing sound gently in their ear. So they're getting all those comforting things that they would have felt in the womb. Now, this is very comforting. I find this comforting, so I'm sure a baby would find it comforting. You can even sing them a lullaby. And if you sing the same lullaby every time, then they will get used to that lullaby, and that in itself will become calming for them. Now, as promised, here are my 2 most effective tips for actually transferring your baby to the crib once you have calmed them down, which can be very daunting because at that point you're really scared that you're going to wake your baby up. Tip number 1 is the feet first method. When your baby has settled and you're ready for the big transfer, put your baby with their feet touching the crib sheet first, then their bottom, then their head. Now, most parents quite naturally do it the other way around. It's instinctive that you would put the head down first and then the rest of the body. But that, in fact, can make your baby feel like they're falling and sometimes initiate the Moro reflex, especially if they're not swaddled, which will startle them and then they will wake. So next time you put your baby down after you've spent all that effort calming them, try putting them down feet first. Tip number 2 is the transport response technique. A recent study showed that initiating what is called the transport response in young babies can be very effective in helping them settle. Now, the term itself can sound quite strange, but what it entails is you holding your baby in a position that you are comfortable with, because you're going to have to walk around the room for 5 full minutes with no jerky movements, no sudden changes of direction. Then, and this is very important, this bit, you need to sit down with your baby in that same hold for 5 to 8 minutes, shushing, rocking, calming your baby. Then you place them in their crib. This method has been proven to settle babies far more effectively than if you had tried to settle them while they were in their crib or put them down immediately after you'd been pacing the room. I've put a link in the description box below to the full study so you can learn more about why this technique actually works. Having a few holds at your disposal means that you can adapt to your baby's likes, dislikes, and specific needs on any given day. Sometimes they will just want to cuddle, other times they'll just want to be walked around the room, and other times they will require a lot more shushing and patting. But with some experimentation and determination and some trial and error, you will find the holds that help soothe your baby best. I hope you found today's video helpful, and please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Your support is greatly appreciated and it makes a huge difference to our growing YouTube channel.